Okay, 3.2, the role of the human nervous system. So, nervous system in our body, the humans, can be divided into two, yeah? The central nervous system and also the peripheral nervous system. So, the central nervous system include the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, as for the peripheral nervous system, it has this cranial nerve and then the spinal nerve. So, spinal nerve branch from the spinal cord. Okay, cranial nerve branch out from the brain, so you can see in the diagram over here. Okay, next one. Okay, what we have here. Okay, so brain structure. So from the central nervous system, you can see that the main part or the first part in the central nervous system is the brain. So what is brain? So brain actually they are all the nerve cell. They have all the nerve and the nerve tissue inside. Okay, and these are the part where we keep our memory. Okay, and all the knowledge that you have. Okay, that is a general thing. So what we can see here for the brain. Okay, the first thing that you can know is the brain is divided into two. Okay, two big half. One is the left, another one is the right. So we call them the left hemisphere and right hemisphere. Okay, so from the side view and the top view. Okay, left and right. Okay, now what is left brain and what is right brain? So you have learned or you know a lot of this, but for biology, it's not important for you to memorize all the function of the left brain or the function of the right brain, but you have to know the main thing or the very very simple one where we know that the left brain, okay, will control the right hand side of the body, okay, or the right side of the body. So you see here, the left brain, it will control the right hand, means the right part. If I have right brain, it will control the left hand. Okay, so that is the most important that you must know lah. Okay, the rest you have, if you want to memorize, no problem, but it will not come out in exam lah. It's just for your knowledge. Okay, now we see the name of each part of the brain. So the biggest one, which is in pink color, this is the cerebrum. Okay, and we touches this sometime in form 4. Okay, so then we have this smaller brain. Okay, we call it cerebellum, L, blum. This one R. Okay, and we have one here, green. Okay, the green part here is called the medulla oblongata. Now, medulla oblongata, if you go Google, you will see there is a name for that, midbrain, pons. But for us, we have named the whole thing here, the green part, as medulla oblongata. Okay, and then these three are the major part of the brain. Okay, inside the brain we have hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and then thalamus also. Okay, the others, okay, corpus, cortical, this one you can ignore lah. Okay, what we need to know about the brain are the cerebrum, hypothalamus, pituitary glands, the medulla oblongata, the cerebellum, and also the thalamus. Okay, there are 6 names that you should know for the brain structure. Now every parts here you have to know the function. So for cerebrum, the function, okay, you control the mental, okay, or a lot of this thinking, everything actually, because this is the biggest part of the brain. Okay, then the second part will be the smaller one. Okay, the cerebellum. Okay, it will coordinate the body movement such as the muscle. Okay, and last one, the third part of the brain will be the medulla oblongata, where it control involuntary action. So in your textbook, you will can see that for involuntary movement is example given are the heartbeat, the breathing, the vasoconstriction, and then the coughing, sneezing, hiccuping. So all these are under involuntary action, include our peristalsis. Yeah. Okay. As for movement, it means that uh, the balancing, the position. Sometimes you will wonder why you sleep on the bed but you never fall. Okay. So how you know when you are sleeping? How you know you are at the edge of the bed, and then you will just turn yourself and come back to the middle or the center. You will not fall down, what I want to say. So that is something that we call the balancing or the position. Okay, the brain somehow know where you are. Okay, the position of that is received the stimulus or the regulation that is made by your brain. Okay, now then next one, cerebrum. Cerebrum you can find a lot. Okay, everything that about thinking, logic, rationals. Okay, that is the job of the cerebrum. Okay, so this is the real parts. Okay, the real brain, we don't have color. Okay, it's just actually white to yellowish. Okay, it's the cell color of the cell. Okay, now we see the big brain, yeah, or the cerebrum. Okay, cerebrum, they are can divided into four lobes. This is extra. Okay, if you cannot memorize, it's okay. Okay, frontal part, which is line or with the red one. Okay, then you have parietal blue, temporal, and then occipital. Okay, so these are the parts that the scientists or the one that's the that we call the structural scientists, the science structural people that they put into a division, okay, for us to learn lah. But still is not yet your syllabus lah. But if you are interested, you can go ahead, no problem. Okay, every look will have different function. Okay, this is another thing about your brain. Okay, it's more complicated one, more not complicated, in more detail. Okay, more information. Okay, you can just go through, no problem. This one. Okay, now what we need to know is after the three major part, the three, cerebellum, and then or medulla oblongata. So now we have hypothalamus, remember, pituitary gland, and then thalamus. So these three, they are a little bit different. They are not about thinking, and we don't call them the brain, but they are very important. They are still the center coordination parts, okay, because they are located at the brain, but they have their own function. So we will see what are the function. So hypothalamus, so it is under the thalamus. So later we see where is the thalamus. So hypo means down actually, okay, below the thalamus. So what is the function? It connects the nerve system and also the endocrine system. So meaning this hypothalamus, it will do the job to link the hormone and also the nerve. Okay, so that means when we do coordination between the hormones and the nerve, the message sent to the brain will send if the regulation involve hormones. Okay, if the regulation involve hormones, it has to send signal to the hypothalamus in order for the hypothalamus to send signal to the gland. Okay, now which gland that the hypothalamus will send message to is the pituitary gland. This is called the master gland. Okay, master gland means this is the main gland that will be stimulus. Okay, and then the impulse will be received from the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is just something like connection between the nerve and the hormone. Okay, you got it? Okay. Now, function for the pituitary gland is very important in growth and reproduction because this is actually the main thing that happen in the body. The growth, of course, growth hormone, a lot of hormones involved here, yeah. Okay, not only growth hormone, but in your books, okay, we focus on growth hormone. Okay, then reproduction, you will see in order for the secondary reproduction to develop, okay, the gland that is the one that is controlling is the pituitary gland. So because of the location, it's the brain, right? So we know the brain are the control the centers of our body. So what is thalamus now? Okay, so thalamus is a olive shapes. Olive shape. You see here, we focus or we point in, okay, more or zoom in. Okay, this is the red one, the thalamus. The orange one will be the one below thalamus, hypothalamus. So pituitary gland is down here. Okay, this little one. Okay, pituitary gland. Oops, the words is missing. Okay, but we have three lah: thalamus, hypothalamus, and pituitary gland. So the thalamus, if you see like this, okay, thalamus, it will not have control to the pituitary gland, right? Okay, so thalamus is more on coordination of the brain. So you see, this thalamus is about the center, so it will link to the big brain. The small is a station, okay, for the impulse to travel. So in between the spinal cord, the brain stem, cerebellum. So that means this is like a center where when the message reach the brain, where to send the message to, okay, to the spinal cord, to the brain stem, which part, okay. So that is the function of thalamus, okay. Hypothalamus, we have mentioned just now, okay, is a below one and is an intermediary. Intermediary means it's between the nerve and the endocrine, okay. So the main endocrine, you see, this one, hypothalamus, so it can get the message from the thalamus. So thalamus tell that uh, the hypothalamus, so what gland or we need some hormones here, okay. So when thalamus give a signal that they need the hormone, so this hypothalamus will like sending an impulse to the pituitary gland, and pituitary gland will do the necessary hormone secretion. Okay, got it? Okay, next one we see. So from the brain, okay, the first part of the central nervous system, we move to the second one, which is the spinal cord. So spinal cord is the nerve. Okay, if you remember chapter 2, we have learned the vertebral column. So this is vertebral column that you have learned. Okay, so we have altogether 33 bones there. So inside the bones there are vertebral foramen. So those foramens are the holes where they hold the spinal cord. So if we see here, okay, the bone, which is a transparent one, okay, the one in pink is spinal cord. So the spinal cord is actually inside the vertebra. Okay, you can see. So the vertebra are protecting the spinal cord. Now from the nerve, okay, sorry, inside the nerve, they must branch out. It cannot be inside that bone, okay, even though they need the protection. So it will come out from the, remember what foramen here? Okay, spinous foramen, so at the side, okay, so where they come out, and then it will become the peripheral nervous, okay, or the peripheral nerve system. Okay, so here is the pictures overall, and then this one we start with the medulla oblongata. See, so from the medulla oblongata, it elongated into the spinal cord, the spinal vertebrae. Okay, then we form the spinal cord. Okay, now if I zoom in here, only the red one we take out, okay, it's actually something like this. Okay, a round one with a gray thing inside, look like a butterfly or the X, okay, a X shape. Okay, so then we have to know which or what is the name for each part of this spinal cord. Okay, later on you will see what are the name for it. And then you hear this one, and then up here is actually branching out from here. Okay, can now what I want you to see here, you see the one that is blinking. Okay, this is the cerebrospinal fluid. So the name fluid means it's a liquid. So this liquid, it will fill up the whole cerebral and then the spine, meaning it's in between the bone, anywhere in between the skull and the nervous or the central nervous system, and then between the vertebra and the spinal cord. So we call it cerebrospinal fluid. It's very important for protection and also absorb some shock. Okay, now let's see. This is the cross section of the spinal cord, as we say. This one and this, see, and this one. Okay, it's about the same. This is the real thing. Okay, they have cut down and then they make into a specimen. So see the butterfly thing or the X shape. Okay, we have name for it. Then here you see swollen part. Okay, swollen. So to know where up and down, you have to see the swollen parts, okay, and the shape of the butterfly lah. Later we see which one. Oh, the butterfly we have name, yeah, the gray matter, and also the not butterfly one, which is the white bat. That means gray matter is in the inside, and then white matter is outside. If you have read out, we have a reason for it. Why is it called the gray matter and the white matter? Okay, remember or not? Yeah, gray matter because you have a lot of body cell. Okay, body cell of the nerve or the neuron. Okay, later we see. Explain again. Okay, white matter because of it has more on the axon part. Okay, axon part. So it more lighter color. Okay, so we have gray matter consists of body cell, a lot of body cell of the neuron, and then the white matter which has more the axon. Okay, now then we see the label each of the part. Yeah, this one is to see how the spinal cord, this one small one, branch out. Okay, yeah, to show the location of the spinal cord inside the vertebrae. Okay, now, yeah, this is the one. So we have to know the name of it, of the each part. So actually this is the spinal cord lah, and then outside here is the bone. This is not the bone. The bone is covering the spinal cord. So the spinal cord is actually the nerve. Okay, a bundle of nerve fiber inside. So this nerve fiber you can see. Okay, we start from here. Okay, first we know the name first. Okay, so generally if I draw out simple diagram, so here the X thing or the butterfly or the X whatever you want to call it, this is called the gray matter. Okay, then outside you have white metal, and also these are the bundle of nerve, the nerve here. Okay, so nerve here you have one swollen part, we call it dorsal root ganglion. So left and right same. Okay, so dorsal root ganglion because of the swollen, okay, ganglion. And then after the ganglion we have this dorsal means not swollen, okay, but it's on top. So it's actually dorsal means back, okay, the back, the one that is back lah. Ventral mean front. So actually backbone here is your lung, okay, in front here is your lung, here is your back lung. Okay, if you understood the vertebral structures, so dorsal roots, then ventral roots. Down is ventral root, which is facing the lung. Okay, then the spinal nerve lah. This one will branch to peripheral nerve system. Okay, now we see example here. So the pin, okay, means you have receptor here. Remember 3.1 receptor, receive. So from the pain receptor, so this black in color, the circle in black color shows the receptor, and then it branch in, so the impulse is received. So this is called the dendrix. Okay, we will see the nerve after this. So dendrix, so from the dendrix it send the impulse inside. So the purple thing here is actually axon. Okay, so along the axon you have one body cell here. So for sensory nervous system or sensory nerve, okay, afferent nerve, remember afferent nerve? Okay, so afferent nerve, the body cell is here. Okay, the body cell is here. Actually we learn nerve already, right? Not yet. Okay, not yet. Okay, so nerve here. You have body cell here, then send dendrix here again. Okay, terminal. Then also this terminal it will join to another nerve, interneuron. Okay, from interneuron join to efferent nerve. Okay, efferent nerve. Okay, this efferent nerve will join to the effector, give out the response. Okay, so if you see here, from interneuron to efferent neuron, so efferent neuron you have body cell here. So this is why the gray matter contain a lot of body cell. Okay, so if you see here it is only one line like this, but please know that, okay, our nerve is not only one line like that. Okay, it have many. It's a bundle of nerve. Okay, it's a bundle of nerve. So even though you see only one body cell, but all the body cell is actually here. That's why it make it gray. Okay, then gray matter. So that is how the transmission of the pathway of the impulse. Later we see again. Okay, that is what we call the pathway of the nerve. Okay, from the receptor until the effector. Okay, so the message from the nerve is sent to the brain. So sometimes in middle of the parts of the chapter, yeah, where we explain about nervous system, okay, we will need to know what is parasympathetic and what is sympathetic division. So this division is actually another a division where we talk about the action, okay, the response carried out by the nerve system. Okay, so for the nerve system, when they carry out, sometimes is actually accelerated. Okay, accelerate mean make it excited. Sometimes is make it down. Okay, so when we see parasympathetic, is more of the time is a control where when you are not good, I mean not feeling good. Okay, so you will see the stimulated of tears. Okay, so something like that lah. So you will read up lah. Okay, you don't need to memorize everything, but it's to know only. Okay, then sympathetic is excitement. Okay, excitement. So what it do when you are excited. Okay, okay, you have accelerated heart, you see. Sometimes it's like not really excitement, but that is what generally it is lah. Sympathetic is excitement, but you can see some of the here or some of here is not actually depression. Okay, it's a good thing also. So we just generally says that the sympathetic diffusion is a nervous system that control on excitement. Parasympathetic is one that depression on the no good. Okay, now yeah, the neuron. So we have three type of neuron. Okay, just now explanation we have seen. Okay, some of it. So the neuron, you must know the name of the parts. Yeah, so there are three types. So one is efferent neuron, then interneuron, then efferent neuron. So how to differentiate? Okay, you must know the difference. Okay, interneuron you have shorter, and then you have both side dendrites, or you have more dendrites here. Okay, and it's a inter mean it join efferent and efferent. For efferent, you see the body cell is in the middle of the axon, the lower axon middle. You have one cell body. Okay, starting with dendrit, finish or end with axon terminal. Same thing, starting with dendrit, finishing with axon terminal. So efferent, the body cell is the cell body is at the beginning part, at the dendrit part. See, beginning. Dendrit is the starting. Here starting, here starting. So all these are dendrit. Okay, we do for interneuron dendrit, dendrit or an axon is not really we cannot really recognize, okay, which is which, but just because they will have receiving and then they will sending out. Okay, now this is the typical neuron and the name of it with some of the function. Okay, so dendrit is the receiver cell body. You have to memorize, yeah, the mailing shield, what's the function, axon, and then axon terminal. Axon is the whole thing, axon terminal is the last part. Okay, end of it. Okay, so not of Rambier. Okay, now this is another one what I want you to see here. You see the gray part and the red part, so they will join. So one nerve will join with another nerve. Okay, normally if you see this gray one, okay, if this one is a interneuron, sorry, this is efferent neuron. So efferent neuron will join with this part, will the message send like that, from here to here. Okay, so efferent neuron, efferent is this one is efferent, right? So efferent neuron, so the message will send from here, here to here. Yes, from the body cell to here. So this is interneuron. Okay, then here this part is effector. Okay, so when you have the nerve to the nerve, they have the gaps. Okay, they're not touching, they will have the gaps, the small gaps. So the small gaps is known as synapse. Okay, there's no, yeah, you see the synaptic. Okay, so the small gap is known as synapse. So you can refer to your textbook for the function. Okay, each part here, the function. Okay, in page 81. If you cannot have your reference book, you just go for don't have textbook, you can go for reference book. If not, you just Google lah, no problem. Put inside your notes. Okay, this is the pathway of transmission. Okay, so we start with afferent neuron. So the one in circle, I circle in red. Circle in red. Okay, that is afferent neuron. So from afferent neuron, it go to interneuron in blue. Then efferent neuron. So the whole thing, you see, start from the hand, go to the spinal cord. From the spinal cord to the brain, interneuron. From interneuron go to efferent, back to the spinal cord, then to the hand. Sometimes it will have one or two interneuron in between, okay? But most of the time it depends on what type of response you need. Okay, if it's a fast one, then you need to shorter one. Okay, if it's a long one, then it's a longer way. And there you will go into the brain. Okay, later we see lah. There's reflex response. Okay, so the transmission, this is what you have in the textbook, a simpler one. So from the ear, see the green part here. So from the ear, it go to the efferent, then interneuron in the brain, then come back to the efferent, then effector, then give out the response. Okay, to open the door when the doorbell is detected by the ear. Okay, this is the summary of the pathway. Okay, so from the sensory neuron to the interneuron, then to the motor neuron. So do you notice the gap? Yes, sir. So I mentioned also, so every time when you have two nerve join or linked together, in between them you will have the gaps. The gap are called the synapse. Okay, the synapse. Alright, so we see here, start the impulse direction. You see the arrow? Impulse direction. Yeah, you must know the direction of the impulse. Yeah, by looking at the type of nerve, we can know the impulse. In can know the impulse direction. Okay, so here you see this is the body cell, right? Then you have dendrite. So this is interneuron. Okay, then this one body cell, then it branch out axon. So this is efferent. Okay, can see or not? So start from afferent, go to interneuron, then you have two efferent neuron there. So in between you have the synapse. Okay, so we zoom in. Yes, synapse. So from the axon terminal axon to the next dendrites. Okay, so we will focus here after this. Okay, like, yeah, synapse again. So you see the yellow thing. Okay, so the labeling for it, synaptic vesicle, can see synapse, synaptic cleft. Okay, axon terminal, the whole thing is axon terminal. The one here is this side is the sorry, he's pointing here. Okay, so this side, the red one is the next nerve. Okay, so on the next nerve you see you have receptor. Okay, so in between, inside the yellow box or yellow vesicle, you have this dot. This dot is neurotransmitter. Okay, I know it's very long, so you can just stop a while and then continue, no problem. Okay, now so we see, yeah, from here, yeah, from the little one to the bigger one, we zoom. Okay, to the zoom this one. Okay, now we see, this is important. Okay, you have to memorize. Later on in this slide also you have, I write down for you the points to explain the synapse. So for synapse, CSYNAPS, actually this is the cleft. Cleft means it's a gap. Okay, so at the axon terminal here, so this is the membrane. So the membrane, we call it presynaptic membrane at the terminal. So the impulse come from here. Okay, so the impulse come from here. Yeah, sorry, no direction. So impulse start from here. You see my pointer here. So from here go down. Let me use the pen. Yeah, the pen. Okay, this is the direction of the impulse. Okay, so when it reach the end of the axon, the terminal, axon terminal, in the impulse, in the synapse or near the synapse, okay, there is a lot of mitochondria. You see, mitochondria, and this purple thing is actually synaptic vesicle. So synaptic vesicle will contain a lot of neurotransmitter. Yes, this is neurotransmitter. In your textbook, the neurotransmitter example given are the noradrenaline. Okay, you have to know some. Okay, some of it. Okay, the noradrenaline as your neurotransmitter. One of it, yeah, one is given, so you just memorize one lah. Oh, got some more. Acetylcholine, serotonin, and dopamine. There are four. Okay, so different neurotransmitter will give out different type of impulse. Okay, it depends on what type impulse you like. you want to be a good impulse or a sad impulse. It depends on what type of neurotransmitter is being released. Okay, so the other part where it receive is called the postsynaptic membrane. So this part you have receiver or the receptor. Okay, so since you have this mitochondria here, so when the impulse is here, okay, it will stimulate this synaptic vesicle to release the neurotransmitter across the synapse, the cleft. Okay, then this side you will have the receptor to receive. Okay, so we see here it join yeah, I show you two nerve. So one is presynaptic neuron before, and then post is after. So we zoom in, you will see the nerve impulse. Okay, from the nerve impulse, yeah, it go down. See the arrow from up to down. So here also lah. Okay, this is the nerve impulse direction. Okay, so you have this vesicle, and then you have mitochondria to give energy for the vesicle to release the neurotransmitter, the release, and then there is a receiver here or the receptor. Okay, so that is, yeah, the vesicle, mitochondria, those important one I have already circle up for you. Okay, so the synaptic cleft. Okay, these are the parts. Neurotransmitter release. Yeah. So okay, next. Okay, so this is from the textbook lah. So yeah, example of neurotransmitter: acetylcholine, noradrenaline, serotonin, and dopamine. So these are the neurotransmitter. Can see? Okay, anything that is not clear here, you can just ask me lah. Okay, direction of the impulse, synaptic cleft. Okay. So this is the notes that I mentioned. Oh yeah, I give you the example down here. Okay, so this one you can memorize or write in your own note, on your own sentence, as long as the meaning is about the same. You use the most important is you use the correct terms. Yeah, then no problem. So now we see types of reflex. Okay, type of action. Okay, so we have two types. Okay, one is voluntary. Voluntary, we know, I don't show in the slide. Okay, voluntary just a normal one where you know what you are doing. Okay, what we can say like that. So voluntary means you know what you are doing. You go through the brain, and then you can think about it for a few minutes, even a few hours or a few days. Then only you decide what to do. That is voluntary. Okay, involuntary, example here, knee jerk reflex. Okay, involuntary means something that happened very fast or immediate. You don't have like 2 minutes or 2 days or 3 days to think about it. Okay, it doesn't happen like that. Okay, for example, you touching a hot water, okay, a hot kettle. Okay, you doesn't have any minute to think about, oh, that is hot, so I remove my hand. No, you don't. You immediate you touch, you will remove your hand. Okay, so that is called the reflex jerk. So whatever point here is given. Okay, so it start with number one. Okay, when you have this rubber, this one is knee jerk, so we test on the knee. You take this is something like experiment. So you take the rubber hammer, rubber one. Okay, if you knock on the tendon, okay, you have to know where is the tendon. Of course, the leg should be hanging. It's not sitting and then you have support to the leg. Okay, it must be hanging. So when we hit, okay, immediately the force, okay, will send to the quadricep here. Okay, receive by the quadricep, the afferent neuron. Can you see afferent neuron? So from the afferent neuron send to the spinal cord. It doesn't go to the brain. Okay, it doesn't go to the brain. From spinal cord, then get back to the quadricep, the extensor muscle. Then this it will make the leg or the foot move forward. Okay, so it will kick up. Okay, that is how. So you just read 1 2 3 4 lah. Okay, then second example is when you touching the hot object. Yeah, this is also the same thing. So when you touch, we start with the blue. So green, green the hand. Okay, green touch the blue, the hot cup. So you see the blue thing, the blue line. So afferent. Let's go to the spinal cord also. It doesn't go to the brain and come back to the bicep, and then it will take away or withdraw your hand. Okay, so this is called the reflex action. So this is also, you just read up lah, how it happened. Okay. Okay, last part of 3.2 is about diseases. So later I will show you the video on the diseases from YouTube. Okay, or you can just search Google, what is Parkinson, what is Alzheimer, what is epilepsy. These five you must know. Okay, in textbook there's only two. Okay, the reference book will give you three more, so you just learn all five lah, no problem. It's just some disease related to the nerve system. Okay, by right I should ask you to do some project here, but no lah. Okay, you just write on your notes. Okay, I trust you to do that. Okay, so you just write down what is Parkinson disease. Okay, how it affect the person, and then what are the symptom. Okay, when a person is have this Parkinson, and then if can better you list down what is the difference between Parkinson and Alzheimer, because these two is in the textbook, so we have to focus more. Okay, the difference between the two. Okay, the rest is still okay. Okay, so I think Parkinson you know, Alzheimer also you know, like just that you not that detailed, so you just Google and then you find some answer from you. If you Google and then you find something that is not so clear, yeah, you can just ask me. Okay, I can explain for you. Okay, but I also show you the video. Okay, so I think, yeah, the disease will stop here, so you will do your checkpoint 3.2. Yeah, don't forget. Okay, thank you.